Hey guys, so welcome to this how-to video on how to integrate a custom data source into DashDisk using CSV files. So I will guide you through this whole video to make sure that you can make it work on your end too. First of all, just a quick word on how it works. The CSV Files Manager and the Template Creation Wizard, which is accessible by this button, is basically how you can tell DashDisk that about the structure of your file, where are located the metrics, the dimensions, their name and formats. Once you've been through this step, the template creation step, like other integration, you have to link a data source to your dashboard, so we'll do that later on too. After that, you have to create widgets based on this data source. The additional step compared to, I would say, standard integrations is that you have to upload data afterwards. Because when you create a template, which is the first step, you do not upload any data to DashDisk. You have to tell about your file structure first, create your widgets, then upload data into your widgets. And an important note here, you also have to re-upload data when you create new widgets, as they are not fed from data in the database before they are created. So let's do this. The first step is to make sure you have a suitable file on hand. A couple of pointers about the file structure. It needs a date, so DashDisk knows where to put the data in. It needs a cell or a column that we call the customer ID, which is basically the name of the source. And it also needs at least one metric or one column with metrics. The file must be structured as this one, this example file, meaning you have to be in a column arrangement, I would say, column layout. You cannot have a metric on one line, then another metric on another line. The reason for this is a technical one, meaning the file is parsed, analyzed line by line. So once it knows what metric should be in column B, for example, it will check every line for the metric in column B. If the format is different in the next line, it won't be able to process the file. So make sure it's in column layout like this. So first of all, we have to create the template. So I'll do that right now. You are in step 1, telling about the file structure as a whole. So choose your file, which is my example file right now. Click on upload. You have a small preview of the file. You can see the separators in the CSV file are highlighted in red. So this is here where you can specify comma or semicolons. You tell also DashDisk the number of header lines, the number of lines at the top of the file that isn't populated with any data. So in our case, we have 4 lines before the real data begins. So 4. Footer line would be for total lines or lines you do not want to be processed at the bottom of the file. And then file encoding is most of the time UTF-8. Click on next. Step 2 is where you really define the data. So the first item is to define the date. You can select either a header, the date to be in the header part of the file, or in a column. If you have, let's say, data for a given metric with multiple date here, it's also possible. So in our case, this is in the header in column 2, line 2. So column number 2, line number 2. As you can see, the format is already pre-validated, so it detects that my format is like that. You can change it. Also, if the validation isn't exact. And when you click on apply, this is where the real validation occurs. So right now you can see it has been validated. Then the customer ID, as I told earlier, is the name of the source, is where the name of the source will be located. So it's only a location, so column 2, line 1. This cell will be used on future uploads by the system to detect which source is being updated with a given file. So let's click on apply. Then you define the dimensions and metrics. So I only have one dimension, being the campaign name in column 1. Then metric one after the other. Specify the column and the format, which can be a number of types here. So integers in this case. Cost will be in the third column. And money format with 2 decimals. I'll just complete this. Integers. Click-through rate is in column 5. It's a percentage. Since I want my percentage to be displayed exactly as this, I will choose this last option. But it's also possible to have another option depending on the format. 2 decimals. And lastly, test per conversion. Money, 2 decimals. When you are done, you can also remove the metric, some of the metrics if you think the definition is incorrect, and replace it. When you're done, you click on save, give your template a name, and the first step is done. The next step would be to link a source related to this template, to this, I would say, integration, to one of your dashboard. So I'll just go back to my dashboard manager. I already have one dashboard here, so I will add a source to this dashboard using manage data sources in the small menu. I choose CSV files. Then I have a list of templates, so the only template I did so far. And then you have a list of sources. Right now I didn't add any source previously, so I need to add at least one, which is with this little button here. But if previously I added one source, I would have been given the choice to choose that source here. Give your source a name. I will name it Acme. And the customer ID field here is what this will look for when you upload a file. So if you remember correctly, during the template creation step, we used this cell as the customer ID cell. So when I upload this file, -this will populate widgets only in the source that matches where the customer ID here, that I will enter in a second, that matches this cell here, so Acme. So I will add this source like that. Let's say, just a quick word to say that if you add other clients, for example, with other names, like -this, different data in the data part, you could also create another source. You call it the name you want, and the customer ID would be for that other source -this. So when you upload this file here, it won't update any widgets linked to the Acme source, even if they are based on the same template. So I'll just keep it that way. So once the source has been added to the dashboard, I need to enter the dashboard and add widgets in that dashboard. So right now I can add a couple of widgets. Clicks. Can add a trend widget, for the impressions, and let's say a multi-column list with all my metrics, like that. You can also use filters too. Right now, as you can see, the widgets are empty, which is normal because, as I told in the beginning of the video, when you create the template, which is the first step, you do not upload any data to DashDisk. You first have to have a widget created before uploading any data and populating the widgets. So once the widgets are created, you go back to the CSV files manager for that template and upload at least one file. You can upload multiple files too. So I will upload this one. This is telling me that it's been added, so it's been uploaded successfully. If I go back to my dashboard and simply refresh the page, you can see that my widgets have been populated with the data in my file. So I hope this will be very useful to you, so you can add custom data source into DashDisk. And in any case, if you need help, just contact info@dashdisk.com. Thank you.